Hello. What is up? How you doing? Hey ho. I have not streamed in a while. I've forgotten how to. Sup? Yeah, that's gonna be the rest of your life, babe. I'm so sorry. Um, it might not be the rest of your life, but it could be. It could be. um, I'm not being very, helpful. Okay. Alright. Herms. Sorry, Herms is so funny to me. It reminds me of something. I can't think of what it is. Is it Hershey's? I'm thinking of Hershey's, I think. I don't know why. You're a chocolate bar. Well, no, I'm thinking of Goodyear. That's what I'm thinking of because the thing icon logo of Goodyear is a winged sandal or boot. It's a foot. I think it's a sandal. It has wings. I don't remember it exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. It rained today, which is lovely. Usually the sun is good. It was warm. It was exceedingly warm for early March. I should probably start playing. Exceedingly warm for early March. And it was raining, which is lovely. Usually I like it when it's sunny, however, I am a plant, so I will take either. I'm in a very strange mood right now. It's mostly good? Question mark? I think so. So we're, enjoying ourselves. Guess who's to present a book tomorrow? Is it me? Can I present a book tomorrow? I don't have a book to present. I don't know why I'm asking. I'm so sorry. What book is it? Actually, no, I do have a book if I was to present that I could present, and it's rearranging my insides. It's very good. I'm very much enjoying it. Song of Achilles. Oh. Like in school or for fun? I don't know the context. I've been dead. Well, at least it's one that you like, right? Like it's not, at least it's not something that you hate. Have I presented on a book I did not like? I don't think I've had to, no. I didn't have to do Catcher in the Rye. I did not like Catcher in the Rye. I did not finish Catcher in the Rye. I tried reading it. I did not like it. I thought it was stupid. Yeah, you're so nervous. Oh. Yeah, that's gonna happen. I've done, like, weirdly enough, I love presenting. I have, like, in school, I liked presenting and I enjoyed tests. I did not like assignments, at all because I had too much time for them. But I liked presenting a lot, but I always got nervous. I still got nervous, before I had to go up. A lot of the times I would try to go not first, but definitely near the front to get it over with, and also so I could present and not stew. It's always the worst, stewing. Although I think when I was much younger, I did not like presenting. And then I found out that I was actually kind of good at it. which helped assuage my fears. And I found that if you just talk real confident, people tend to believe you. Even if you don't have the most information or the most thorough explanation, people just tend to believe you. And it worked out for me. I got really good marks. And I know it's not exactly helpful, but if you pretend you're confident, it should be. It is worth so much more than it really should be. I shouldn't be able to trick people into thinking I have the correct information, but, you know. Is there, like, a set schedule for who presents when? Because if there isn't, I would recommend going, like, second. Second or third. Get it out of the way quickly, you don't have as much time to stew, and it's not exactly at the beginning, but it is soon enough that you might get, like, well, it depends on who your teacher is. You might get extra points just because you did volunteer. Or, like, they'll look more favorably on you. Some of my teachers would do that. I added, I actually don't remember when I added it, but I added Take Me to Church to the Monster playlist because it works there, and it's been playing on repeat in my head. It's not on my playlist on my, or like my download songs on my phone, which makes it inconvenient when I can only hear that song, and I'm on the bus, and I'm just waiting. Takes so long to get home. It doesn't take that long to get home, but it was raining, so traffic. It wasn't even raining that hard. I guess it was just slippery, just enough to be slippery. But yeah, I was listening to music while I was on my way home, but I could just hear Take Me to Church playing very, very quietly in my brain. Makes it very inconvenient when I'm trying to do anything else to have things playing. Because it's not like, sometimes it'll just be I'm thinking about a song or whatever. Sometimes it'll be like I can hear it outside of my own head. it is only my thoughts. I swear sometimes I hallucinate hearing music. It's very specific, and I have to be able to think of the whole thing, but like I don't remember what song it was, but I swear to God one time I just lay down in my bed and I just essentially had to listen to the entirety of a song through my own thoughts outside of my head. It was really weird. It was a very odd experience. It's only happened a handful of times, but I don't know if it's I don't know if that's how it's supposed to work. I don't know if you're supposed to be able to do that. It was cool though. I would love to be able to do that, like, just with music that I choose. It only happens for some things. Weird as hell. Ah. I'm so physically tired. Not as physically tired as I was like a few weeks ago, but I can feel I have fatigue. I have muscle fatigue, and it's not even in the fun way, which is disappointing. It's just like I'm tired and that's it. It's boring. I'm bored of it. Give me something else. I'm also like... Actually, no, I've been getting a little bit more sleep, so I'm not really sleepy tired. But I keep doing things when I'm physically exhausted, but my brain is working, and it means that my brain gets very, very tired very quickly, but does not realize that until I've agreed to / done a bunch of things. And yeah, so we'll find out what happens if I don't. We'll find out if I can stop myself from overdoing it this week. Or the next few weeks. Because I straight up... I don't bake anymore. I used to bake a bunch. In grade 4. I don't know why I baked a bunch, but I used to bake a bunch. And, because of that, my mom will occasionally just ask me to make things, and I usually don't, because again, I don't bake anymore. That's fine, I don't mind. I've been distracted. What was I saying? Baking. Yeah, my mom will ask me to bake a bunch, and she usually wants cookies, because cookies are good, and I usually say no, or tell her to make cookies herself. She can also bake, and I don't want to. But yesterday I agreed to it for reasons unknown to me, so I had to bake cookies, even though I had come home from, like, I got home from work at around 6:30, 6:45, and then I got home and I had dinner, and then I had a shower, had dinner, cleaned up, made partially made dinner, cleaned up, had a shower. It was about 8:30, 9 o'clock at that point, but I'd already agreed to make cookies after I had a shower, so I had to make cookies. I made oatmeal raisin cookies with lots of cinnamon and not as much nutmeg as the recipe called for, because my mom doesn't like nutmeg very much. But I like cinnamon a lot, so I added more cinnamon. They're good. I personally think they're too sweet, but they're more like dessert cookies. Did I mention what they are? They're oatmeal raisin. They're more like dessert oatmeal raisin cookies, which is funny, because that's usually what I think of. They taste good. My mom is happy with them. She says there's too many spices in them, or I've added too much nutmeg. I don't think I added enough, but again, she doesn't like it, so whatever. But she still ate a bunch of them. And she doesn't think they're too sweet, so that's great. And then, yeah. I also agreed to stream. I agreed to myself to stream today. I said I was going to stream today, so I'm streaming. Even though I still, again, work. I don't even work that much. I don't know why I'm, like, complaining. I think I've mentioned this. I only have a 6.5-hour shift instead of an 8-hour shift, which is usual. I do not work. Depending on what your definition of full-time is, I think I technically just work full-time. Like, I've just eked out into working full-time. I think it's 30 to 40 hours. But, yeah. I did get a raise, so I don't actually mind as much. Love making money. It's such a good deal. Yeah. And today was very warm. It's been very warm for the past few days. Like the past week. Yeah, week-ish has been exceptionally warm. And especially when the sun is out, it's so hot. It's not actually hot, I'm being dramatic, but like, I stopped wearing my winter jacket. It's still technically winter, but I stopped wearing my winter jacket. I'm wearing a sweater and my denim jacket. which was my dad's when he was in high school, I think. I know it was my dad's. I think it was from when he was in high school or college. I'm not sure. It's mine now. And I was sweating. I also stopped wearing several layers just as my clothes layer, because in the winter, a few weeks ago, I was wearing 3 layers of clothing just as my normal clothes. Like, I was wearing a tank top, a t-shirt, and a long sleeves. Plus, I would put my work shirt over that, so I was wearing 4 layers in the shop. And then for the past few weeks, I'd gone down to 2 layers, so just the long sleeves and a t-shirt. Now I'm just wearing the t-shirt, the 1 layer, plus the work shirt, because my work is messy. Not even messy, it's just a lot of stuff. If I did not wear a work shirt over my clothes, I would be constantly covered in, I would be dragging metal dust and metal chips and coolant, which is oil mixed with water, or like an oil or something. I don't know. It's like grease? I don't know, actually. I actually don't know what coolant is. What coolant is made out of. It's weird. Yeah, I would bring that literally everywhere because I get soaked, essentially. Caked in it. The work shirts I have are long sleeves, and it is useful because I do use my sleeves to wipe things off, and like my shirt just to wipe off, I meant to wipe off my, the whatever I'm working on, the pieces, just to get, again, coolant and metal and metal dust off of them. And I have a red work shirt, and a like light gray work shirt, and both of them I think are now permanently stained black at essentially like half forearm down because I've been using them to wipe off my work pieces. And fun fact about metal dust, it's always black for some reason. I guess it's just the particle size. When it gets very small and there's a lot of them, they do not do well with reflecting light, so it's just completely, it becomes like paint. Happens to my hands too. The sleeves are a little bit long, so sometimes I use them kind of like gloves if I don't want to cut my hands, or I get cold because it's still cold in the shop. Despite my best efforts, it's cold in the shop. I find it cold. I have not a lot of blood in my body. I have both too much and not enough. I want this one? I don't actually remember which one does which. Yeah, I don't have enough heat. I'm usually a very warm person, so it's just been a weird time for me, just being cold all of the time. Like today, it was warm outside, so like the shop doors were open, and like the big garage door in the back of the shop, which is good for airflow and sunlight because there's only like 2 windows in the shop, and there's enough light. They have like the overhead lights on, but my last job was working specifically in sunlight the whole time. So to go to a job where it is dark and I leave after dark and I don't get to be in the sunlight makes me sad. So having the garage door open was nice. It's also a cool experience to look out the door and just be above the asphalt. It looks cool. It's like an optical illusion. What was I saying? The garage door was open, the front door was open, lots of airflow. I was very cold. To be fair, it was a coolant day, because sometimes I do not have to use coolant at my machine, but today was a day where I was using coolant and I was very cold. I think it gets like, because it gets kind of vaporized just a little bit, or some of it does, or steamed, I guess, during the process of when I'm machining. And during the process when I'm machining, and so it just gets in the air, and I think it just gets soaked into my clothing. So no matter if it's almost, if like my clothing feels dry, it's just automatically colder, because again, it's like an oil. It does not dry ever. If we leave coolant in the machine, don't wipe it off properly, it just like dries down to being gooey and sticky. Better than what was there before, because apparently it would turn into a gel. It would turn into cheese. Gross as hell, but apparently that's what happened. But yeah, it was like 10 degrees in the shade. Yeah, but I had to put on another layer because all the doors were open. And I was not in the sunlight. I was so cold. But the sunlight's nice. The sunlight is always nice. I love the sun. It was raining though. The rain's also nice. It's drizzling. I have a tiny umbrella that I bought, and I'm so excited for it because it comes in a little container. I love a little container. I love a container that holds a specific thing. And also, I love containers that hold multiple things. I love bags. Bags and containers. But yeah, I bought an umbrella, and it is very small. It fits in my pocket. My jacket pocket. I could probably fit in my jeans pockets, actually. My jeans pockets are pretty big. But it's very small, and it has a little case. So I can put it in the case when it's wet, and then I can put the whole thing in my pocket. It's great, because then I don't get a wet jacket pocket, which is so annoying. The only downside is by virtue of being a small umbrella, it is a tiny umbrella. Tiny collapsible umbrella. So won't work in high winds, and also it is very much a one-person umbrella, and it's barely a one-person umbrella. I'm surprised at how big it is, considering how small of a footprint it has when it's all folded up, but like it is not a big umbrella. If it is windy, you will still get, if it's a little bit windy, you'll still get wet from like torso down, but it is better than being completely soaked, so I will forgive it. And it's also very cute. I bought the, it came in a few different colors, but I bought the bright yellow one because yellow. I like the color. I was gonna say something and I don't remember what it was. Unclear. Yeah, I think I'm absorbing a lot of metal. I say absorbing because I still wear a mask to work because I want to. So I think I'm still breathing in some metal dust, but not that much, and a lot of it's wet metal dust, so it's not too bad. However, my hands get absolutely soaked. I get I think I've mentioned this, I get little bits of metal caught under my skin, and if I don't notice it for long enough, it kind of dissolves and just stops being a metal speck and starts just being like a brown dot in my skin, and it's kind of disconcerting, but I don't feel it, and it's probably fine, so I'm gonna say it's fine. Yeah, we mainly work with steel, so I mainly work with steel. I think there's like 3 bits of aluminum in the shop, but it's mainly steel. So lots of like iron iron filings. I might, I don't know how absorption of minerals through the skin works, if or if it does work. But I wonder if after working at this job for a while I will have an iron deficiency, because I think my mom and my sister both have iron deficiencies. I have not checked. I have had blood work done, but I don't remember if they gave us the results. So they probably did. I was just a child, and so I couldn't see them. But yeah, I don't know. Or I could see them, and I didn't ask. No clue. Anyway, I probably also have an iron deficiency. I wonder if this will fix it. Because I do just a lot of metal in my body. Speaking of minerals, because I am a nerd about stuff like this, I was listening to a podcast about soil. The reason I was listening to a podcast about soil is because originally when I was looking for podcasts to listen to, or like things to listen to while I'm traveling, because I spend a lot of time traveling and I have to make sure I get off the right stop, I was looking for plant things, plant and tree and forest and like nature space things, and it's surprisingly hard to find podcasts on the type of information I'm looking for, which is more on the scientific side and less on the like community side, I guess. Which is weirdly a lot of podcasts, a lot about like, well, it's a lot about gardening. I don't care about gardening. I want to learn about like ecology and like the science and things like that. This is not attached to anything. How are you here? Yeah, so not as much about plants. I found some about plants, so I am also listening to those, but there are also a bunch about soils, which is fun, and I'm really enjoying those. I found that I actually really enjoy listening to or like listening to stuff about soils. There's always going to be the fact that the basis of these like podcasts, and I'm also reading a book about it's a book about gardening. There's a lot about like soil in there as well, and I was having fun with it, so it's fine, it works. But yeah, the base for a lot of these things is going to be gardening, agriculture, things like that. I'm not especially interested in those, but it's one of the things you have to contend with when your interest is only part of like a category of thing, I guess. So there's stuff that is not nearly as interesting, and then I just kind of eyes glaze over while I listen to it or read it, but what can you do? There's not much choice. It's either listen to the gardening stuff or don't listen to anything at all. But yeah, I was listening to one about soils, and the episode that I was listening to recently was about clay in soils. And they kept saying this one word, and it's very good. It's smectite, which is a type of rock. It's a composition of clay. I think it's like the type of rock like the base of what clay is, or one of the bases of what clay is, and the person just the podcast is like one of the ones where there's a host, and then they get like a special guest for every episode, and the special guest just kept saying the word spectate, and I was very amused by it. It's a very good word. But I really enjoyed that episode. Makes me feel like such a nerd when I talk about it. It's also very funny because I have a D&D character, or it's funny to me because I love connections that possibly have things to do with other things. But I have a D&D character. My most recent one that I'm playing as is a Earth Genasi, and because my DM wanted to be funny with world building, they added that being a druid is kind of like a religion. Where you can grow up a druid and be a druid, like culturally and I guess physically as well in this, because there's like a physical transformation part of it, but it's kind of weird. So I am a druid Earth Genasi, but my class is cleric, so it's just a bunch of things happening, and I like have dirt and soil and clay and rock for skin, and also a plant growing out of my head and shoulders to be my hair and stuff like that. I just find it funny because this really has nothing to do with it, but I was thinking of it while I was playing, just how essentially clay is for the health of soils, or the mineral composition of soils, especially compared to... I did not see a clip of you ever making music. Hello. But they were talking about how different soils work, and I found it really interesting because it was not stuff I'd known or even like intuitively had a grasp of, because I've forgotten my chemistry, or I choose not to think about chemistry most of the time. Chemistry sucked. Trying to learn on, because grade 11, grade 12 chemistry for me was all online, and it sucked. It was bad, it was not fun, and I did not like it. And I didn't do super well in those classes. I was normally a straight A student. I think I had like a 70. No, not a 70. Actually, no, I think I might have still got an A in those classes. But, like, it didn't feel like I got an A in those classes, is what I'm trying to say. Showed in the server, okay. Do you... There, you said it. Nice. Let me grab my phone. Here, you guys can listen to me watch the clip. But yeah, it was cool to learn. Give me my thing. To learn new stuff. I love learning things. Ooh. Can you hear that? I'm guessing you can. Sounds distract me. This is okay, it's just replaying. It's really cool. I don't remember when it was, but at one point you were talking about making a game, like coding a game, and then you were talking about wanting to have music in it. I'm bringing that up. I don't know if I have a question, but I'm bringing that up in case you have a talking point to go off of that. You're just following steps from the tutorial? It sounds cool, though. I was gonna say nice, and then I went with cool, and then my brain went, wait, no, both, and then I just stuttered. I stuttered on cool, and it did not go well. Usually I'm not better at talking. I'm usually less... See, someone make a game at the same time. A lot of work. Oh yeah, no, everything. Trying to create is truly too much work. Especially by yourself, that's fair. Yeah, well, you know, can be a goal, life goal. I still want to write that. I want to write so many things. I have terrible priorities. You were in cat jail. You were cat jail, cat exile, silence. I'm trying to think of like a vow of silence, except cat vow of silence, something like that. There's a I want to make a pun, but I can't think of a pun. Music. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't listen to music. I have 11 songs on my phone, and 11 songs in the playlist that I'm currently listening to, and those are not the same songs. Some of them are not. And I have to replace some of them. Not add to it, I mean replace. There's a pun here, but we don't know what it is yet. Puns are always hiding in plain sight. Lurking in the shadows, waiting to be revealed. But yeah. It feels like heresy, that's it. It goes that way. Heresy to say that I do not enjoy, or not that I don't enjoy, but I do not like music particularly. As a band kid, as a former band kid, I'm in recovery. But yeah, music's something that's there, but not particularly important to me. I was just talking about the fact that I've been listening to Take Me to Church through my own brain because it's been playing in there and I don't have control of the aux cord. Yeah, it's but however, I like words, okay? Shish. I like words. Words are very good. I also just like sounds. I like sounds and words, okay? I don't have control over what I enjoy, okay? I just have to deal with it. In absolute silence. Speaking of music, I've discovered that wearing my headphones, because I got for Christmas, this past Christmas, a new pair of Bluetooth over-the-ear headphones. I've discovered that it is not a practical thing for me to wear them to work on the bus, because the bus vibrates a lot. And a funny thing that happens when you're wearing over-the-ear headphones, or my over-the-ear headphones on a bus that vibrates a lot, it tricks them. And they start buzzing. Or like they get weird. They get weird and they don't like it. I started to listen to music was because of streaming. I still don't really listen. I think I do technically listen to music. However, I don't enjoy having to look for music to listen to. It seems like so much work. It's so much work to me for something I only mildly enjoy, so I will just kind of listen to the same thing over and over again. Or if I accidentally come across some noise that I like, I will adopt that and then have that until I get sick of it. Like, for the longest time, I just had one playlist that I just kept adding things to every time I heard music that was pleasant to me. No no theme, only music that I've listened to. Um Clearly not Sal. Hello. Christ almighty, autocross. How many how many Twitch accounts do you have? Random playlist on YouTube or Spotify? Yeah. So sometimes, because sometimes I'm actually no, I've been listening to music a lot more lately, but that's because I've discovered, and it really should have come to me a lot sooner, because people have said they've done this and have been doing this for a very long time. I've discovered that if you put on a playlist with the correct vibe for whatever you're trying to write, it makes writing it a lot easier. Or, well, it makes staying in the mood of what you're writing a lot easier. So, you know, I've been doing that, except I'm terrible at creating playlists, and I hate doing it, so I've literally just been going on YouTube and looking up playlists for whatever emotion or vibe or whatever I'm trying to go for, and just picking one at random and playing that while I'm writing. Sometimes they'll have lyrics, sometimes they're just instrumental, because that also works. And anytime something is wrong, I will skip it. It makes one like one account, okay. Oh, did you just... This is a VIP account. Wait. You have... Where's my mouse? I just realized you have VIP on this account. Did you just rename it? You've renamed it, but I don't know which one this is. Oh, this one, which one this was originally. I still have in my, oh my god, please go away, thank you. In my, Twitch activity feed, Sal's doppelganger, which is a different account. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, also a way to find music, and it's a non-committal version. I am apparently terrified of commitment, and I hate it. To the extent that that to listen to music, I have to have a non-committal to do it in a non-committal way. But yeah, a way that I've been listening to music, I do listen to it a lot more. I downloaded this one thing, a playlist of instrumental, that I just use as background music. Honestly, if I had, I probably could just download the soundtrack of, Himno, because the soundtrack of Himno is very good for what I'm... Maybe this is why I like this game so much, because the sounds are nice, and I can just talk over them. And it makes it easy to think. Sometimes too easy to think. Several times when I was going to work, more so in the first week, 2 weeks of going to work, I would play my background music, instrumental, no lyrics, good for thinking music, and I would be on the bus, I would be watching outside, but it's very good for brainwaves, so what happens is it didn't do the green... Okay, whatever. What happens is I will be on the bus, and I get to thinking so hard that I black out. I can't think, or no, I can think too much. I can't perceive my surroundings. I am unaware of my own body, or time, or reality. I enter the fifth dimension in my own head, and I go missing. And then I miss my bus stop, and it makes me late to work. It happened several times. I finally realized that, oh, I can't listen to this because it makes me think too hard, and I have to stop doing that if I want to get to work on time. Which is such a fun thing to can't watch, apparently. Oof. I'm sorry. Not my fault though. But yeah, it's good for brain matter. I can do it going home because I don't have to be home at any particular time, and it's also harder to miss my stops going home. I want that key. I want that key so badly. Give me the key. I need more XP. Dimensional drifting, yeah. It truly is. I don't like not having Wi-Fi, yeah, because you're chronically online. But yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just, I mean, I could honestly, I have, and I absolutely can do the thinking so hard I enter the fifth dimension without music, without any sounds. I've done it literally. I didn't realize that sometimes I just want things to be quieter until much more recently. So when I was younger, I would bring earbuds or headphones on, like, with me places, and I would put them in, and I would prepare myself to start listening to music, and then I'd put them in, and then I'd just not do anything. I would just sit there, things muffled or quiet, and I would I would galaxy brain. Alright, have a nice rest of your day. Sorry you couldn't watch. But yeah, I would just galaxy brain, and I can do that without music. But music blanks out more than just, okay, I'll just find, there's nothing else for me to collect here, so I don't want to just keep jumping up and down, because I could just do that. You can see the number keeps going up if I just do that. No. I just do this? Oh, that's stupid. I could. There will be other keys. I have to hope. Sometimes there aren't, then I get really sad. But if this only goes up by 2, and it's going to take forever. Although, if I just do this... Speaking of headphones, I was trying to get to this point because I had a point and then I got distracted. The issues of having background noise. I was mentioning this to people. I think it was Celery and Sal, who are neither of which are here at the moment. Possibly. Most likely. But I have ghosts or fairies or something in my room. Something that is, I like to say, supernatural. Because if it's not, the other explanation is I have a person who is living in my room that I do not know of. Which is very difficult and very creepy. Unlike having a ghost or a fairy, which is a lot more fun. And I say this because of a few things, like the regular ghost things that are easy to pretend, or like easy to say, oh, that's just like a trick of your environment, whatever, like flickering lights and truly unexplained cold spots. Key, 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 key. I'm very happy. But one thing that happens a lot, or not a lot, but has happened consistently and enough times that it's like weird, is that occasionally things of mine which I'm using will go missing. And it could be, of course, that I have misplaced them. I am a forgetful person during the best of times, and a clumsy person as well, but they will go missing. I will not be able to, like, they're away from where they usually are for whatever reason. And it'll be something that I need, and I'll go looking for it. I'll look in all the usual places and some of the unusual ones, and I do a pretty thorough job of looking for things when I lose them and I need them, as you should be doing. But yeah, I'll look for them, and then I won't find them. What tends to happen, and I have really no explanation for it, or at least none that I would like more than me having a ghost or fairies that just likes to borrow things. What'll happen is I'll have this thing go missing for a few hours, sometimes even a few days, and then after I leave my room, or I fall asleep, or something of that nature, I will look into one of the... I'll see the thing I'm looking for in a very obvious spot, in a spot I've definitely searched. Like, I was definitely looking for it before. Yeah, definitely looking in for it before. And it'll just be there. It'll just be there, like it was placed there. Like, not buried under things, not hiding behind objects or under anything. It will be somewhere easy to spot, easy to find, and it will look like it's been placed there. And this has happened with a few things. I can usually remember it happening with pens, but I know it's happened with other things too. Like one time I was looking for a green pen of mine and I couldn't find it, and so I was like, okay, whatever. Calling out to my room, please please return it, whatever, because I will do that. It's good to be polite. Be polite with the supernatural beings in your room, or your house. I'll ask for it back, and then I took a nap, or I went to sleep or whatever, and I woke up and I found it on top of my covers in my bed, or like on top of my blankets in my bed, and I looked for it in my bed before because it was on my shelf, which is above my bed, and I was like, oh, maybe it just fell. Exactly, because they're there and they like to borrow your things. But yeah, and it was just there. It was just placed there. I went, oh, okay, and I just went, oh, okay, thank you. I got it back. The reason I'm mentioning this is because the reason I was wearing my over-the-ear headphones to work was because I have this pair, the small pair of in-ear wireless earbuds that I usually wear. They work really well for the bus. They are very small, and I can also just use them as earplugs if I just don't want to listen to anything. I usually wear those. However, they went missing 2 days ago. I couldn't find them. Usually I have them in my jacket pocket. My jacket, which I keep at the bottom of the stairs. My room is on the uppermost floor of my house, and the like the hooks where you put the jackets is at the bottom of those stairs. So it's usually there. I couldn't find it there. I could find my other like earplugs in the pocket. They're usually together, but I couldn't find my headphones, my earbuds. So I was like, okay, maybe I put it in my jeans pocket. And so I went up to my room, looked in my pants pockets, they weren't in there. Which is weird, because usually, like, I'll take them off and then they'll be either in my pockets, like pants pockets, jacket pockets, or they'll be charging. They were not charging near my bed, they were not charging downstairs, because I'll sometimes have them charging by the door, so I don't forget them. They were neither places, I couldn't find them, and they'd been, so, and I realized that I couldn't find them right before I had to go to work, so I had to, like, just use my over-the-ear headphones. They're not great for the bus, as I've said, but beside the point. Couldn't find them today either, so again, over-the-ear headphones. And then, when I got home from work today, went up to my room, turned on my light, they're on the floor, like, placed properly, like, the bottom of the headphones are on the floor, placed right in front of the door, right beside my bed, just in front of the doorway. Absolutely something I would have 100% noticed if I was in my room at any other point, which I was, because I woke up in this room, and I also got dressed and left and came back upstairs to several times to get stuff, and because I woke up earlier today, I was reading. I came upstairs to read a little bit. They were just there. They're just there on the floor. 100% in a place that I looked already. Absolutely what would be my line of sight for a very long time, just like throughout my days. Throughout my day, the 2 days I didn't have them, they were just there. Because of the shape of them, they usually don't fall like that. They'll like get knocked over onto their sides or the top if it like fell off of something. But no, they were just they were just there. The same 3 pairs of earbuds, yeah. Yeah, I have my over the ears, those earbuds, and then I have a second pair of not as good earbuds and much bigger ones that I don't like as much, so they are somewhere. But I do have them just in case. But yeah, it was very funny. So I again thanked the beings in my room who have not clarified whether they are like fairy types or if they are a ghost. Possibly both, possibly different. But I thank them for returning my things, so that's fun. But yeah, they're very funny. They keep doing things like that. Sometimes they'll be, and it's like it's happened enough times, specifically in this room, that I'm just kind of used to it. I'm used to losing something that I'm looking for and then finding it in a very obvious place, just placed there. It's happened so often. Very fun. And of course, there's like, if I really wanted to, I could come up with a reason that I found them there at that time. Like, I had a, there's a foldable stool, that I have, and I've been keeping it by my bed as like a little table that I might have put them on at some point. But like, that I didn't remember, but that's not as fun. So I'm gonna say no. It's much more boring than that idea. Like, and then it got knocked off of the stool or something. I don't know. But again, it's like right in the line of sight of where I would be walking, so I'd have to be very unobservant, which I sometimes am. But it's again more fun to to say this. Woo! Yay! District 11. There are. I don't remember why. I know that this thing doesn't like end, but it's still this. This game is cute. I like this game a lot. I should really get the other version of it, but or like the second game. I don't remember what it's called, but whatever. But yes, ghosts and or fairies and or brownies, which is another way to say, or like a different type of fairy. Fairy with an AE, fairy with an IE, and a fairy with a Y. Not all in the same place. Yay! Do people spell fairy AE and also Y? I only ever see AE and IE. AE with IE. Although people will spell things literally however they want to, so I'm sure you could. I was explaining ghosts in my room, or fairies, or etc., various supernatural creatures that move things around in my room, because we had an incident. I'm upset. I'm upset. Wow, that's annoying. I want the key. I want the key. I worked hard for it. Give me the key, please. Yeah, I have a creature in my room that likes to borrow some of my stuff and then will give it back hours or days later, randomly. Your house is haunted, yes. Yeah. A little bit. Are you just going to that friend there? No? Okay. And they borrowed my earbuds today, or well, 2 days ago, and then they just gave them back. Photo of the friend saying I forgot if they read the text on their phone. Yeah, fair enough. Would that work on me? Possibly. Yeah. But, having lots of fun. Anyway, clay soils. I was also talking about clay soils because I was listening to a podcast on soils because soils are fun. Drink water. Yeah, I was wondering why I was dehydrated. Learned that, the reason that clay soils hold more water than other soils is because of the like the atomic charge. Like it attracts the water much more than other soils do, which I don't do this to me anyway. Which I feel like I did intuitively know, or like I should have known intuitively, but it was like putting your glasses on to look for your glasses. That's never happened to me because I'm always hyper aware of my glasses. I do not like wearing them. However, I have had like other things on my body that I'm like, hey, where is this? And it's just on my person, like physically on my body. I don't want to stretch. Fine, we'll do a short stretch. I've done I've done looking for something that's in my hand before. So, I can do that one. Yeah, I'm talking about soil because it's fun. I might have to re-listen to that. Hello? Can you guys hear me? But yeah, I think I was set on mute, but I've done, looking for something that's in my hand, like that I'm currently holding on to. I think it was my phone, or like, it was probably my phone, but I think there might have been something else that I can't remember. And I kept talking about cations. Cations in the podcast about soils. I'm gonna keep talking about it. It made me very happy. I liked it. I liked it a lot. There's also like the inherent mineral value in clay that's a lot easier for plants to, well, inherent mineral value in the clay itself, but also other soils will have that, and also that's not the most important thing. The thing is, because of the cations in, which is just like the charge of the material, the clay, it also holds on to other minerals, and because just random minerals in solution in the soil, and so when plants need them, they can just produce acids to knock those cations off and then take them for themselves to balance water retention. It can be, yeah. It'll depend on the thing is, it's very easy to get sand, much harder to get, like, it's easy to get and to distribute sand, much harder to get and distribute clay in your soils, especially if you are in a place that does not naturally have clay, like clay in soil that is good for plants. And clay like a YouTuber, there's so many people who have that name. Like, for example, in tropical areas, they have terrible soils. Part of that is they have very, the word that the person in the podcast was using was leached, but a lot of them, like, the, soil, the mineral content has leached out, and it's basically, they're basically dead in that regard. The reason that tropical soils do really well is because they're extremely biodiverse. They do very well because they have to do very well. They support lots of life because they have to support lots of life. If they do not support lots of life, no life will be supported. It's very strange. It's a very strange way to go about things, but it's very cool to me. Soils where I live, well, yeah, specifically where I live, like southern Ontario, very good, with lots of mineral content. We are not using it to the best of its ability. Does not support nearly as much biodiversity because it's so high in nutrients. Which sounds like it's backwards, but for some reason that's how it works. When there is a lot of a resource, or like when it essentially kind of eliminates the need for competition because it's so abundant, so there's just more of a dominant species in whatever niche, rather than all types of life trying to get as much as possible from soil. And so it's real weird. It's real weird. Yeah, but mixing sand and clay can be helpful. However, if you just have sand and clay, you don't make good soil. You kind of just make gritty clay. um, Soil is a percentage silt, a percentage clay, a percentage sand, and a percentage organic material. It needs to be able to rot. The best soil for most plants is loam. Well, at least most plants. Yeah, well, no, yeah, most plants in general, just because it's lots of nutrients. Especially North American plants in colder climates really do like loam because they are used to it, because that's what it's supposed to be. Also, loam is very specifically naturally found in like valleys at the bottom of mountains, hills and things like that, just because it's collection of stuff. The best stuff is just stuff, you know. Anyway, but yeah, you need to, in order to have like the water retention, you need that inorganic matter, but it also provides, again, depending on where it's from, it can also provide the like mineral content. But it can also provide mineral content over a long period of time. Plants are impatient and so are not able to appreciate that in the short term. They'll appreciate it eventually, but they are greedy. Which is where your decaying organic matter comes in. I think that's also probably why the biodiversity is worse in places with richer soils, just because it takes more work to get nutrients out of rocks, essentially. It takes time and it takes effort, and it's going to weed out the competition. There are so many puns that can be made for plant podcasts. I don't think it was made as a pun because no one was laughing while it was being said, but at one point the expert on the podcast, the soil podcast, said he was getting into the weeds about soil, and that delighted me so much, but no one reacted like it was a pun, and I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't being pointed out. Just because one of the other podcasts I listened to definitely pointed it out, but that's more of like a plant and less like plant and gardening podcast, and less like a science one, where the soil one's more like a science thing. Also, apparently clay has like on a particle scale a very flat shape. Like I was listening to some of the stuff the expert was saying, being like, are you what? I don't know. I was enjoying it. It was fun to listen to. But yeah. I'm just thinking about soils, damn it. Cause soil's like a living thing. Well, it's partially dead things and things that were never alive, but you have to treat it like a living thing. At least for a lot of, if you want your gardening to go well, you have to treat it like a living thing. There's a saying in the book I was reading, the gardening book, because, you know, sometimes we read gardening books for fun. Instructional books for fun. I sound so like such a loser. But yeah, the saying goes, feed your soil, not your plants, which, fair. I worked at a garden store, so I know a lot. I know a bit about fertilizers and stuff. If you fertilize your plant once, you will need to well, not necessarily once. You can fertilize it like once and it's fine. But the more you fertilize, the more you need to fertilize. They are supplements. Fertilizers are supplements, and if you supplement, you must continue to supplement because your plants develop a dependence on the amount of whatever you're putting. Usually it's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Like, they'll develop a dependence on the amount that you put in, but also you burn your soils, or yeah, you basically you kill your soils basically by putting in fertilizers, because it just destroys every living thing that lives in the soil because it's an overabundance. You can also burn your plants. There's slow acting fertilizers, which were the ones mainly that we sold, which were not as likely to burn your plants, still as likely to kill anything else that lives in your soil. Things with soft and squishy bodies do not do well when you put lots of chemicals in the soil, and they get very sad and die. Things like worms, nematodes. I actually don't know what a nematode looks like. Other grubs, but also like tiny little fungi. Whenever professional people say that word, it's always fungi, and I don't know if that's just the correct way to say it, or if they're just being people from a different place that have a different pronunciation. It's like Neanderthals. Any professional person I've heard who works in archaeology has always said Neanderthals. I don't know. I don't like how it sounds as much. But yeah. Oh well. But the fungi networks in soil, so important. Also, root hairs, which are partially made up of the fungi network in the soils. They get destroyed, and those are very important for the plant to get any kind of nutrients. Get really anything, because a lot of the time, plants are kind of bad at absorbing. A lot of plants are kind of bad at absorbing nutrients by themselves, and so they need help, and that's what the fungi do. Mycorrhizae. I have to stop talking about plants. I will just I'll just keep looping back. It's fun though. I like talking about it. It makes me happy. But I don't have any actual authority or knowledge for what I'm talking. I have a little bit. I have a little bit. To be fair, I have a little bit. But yeah. The actual best way to treat your plants is to not treat your plants. Woo! Which I think is the funniest thing. Yeah, the more you can leave your plants alone, the better it is. Nope, I don't want to. I want a garden. I also don't want a garden, because that's a lot of work, but it would be fun. I also want to make compost. I just want to make compost. I've been thinking about it. I have no, like, not even to use on a garden. I just want to make compost. Because I was reading about it. It sounds like fun. It's a lot of putting things in a pile and leaving it for several weeks, and I don't know why I decided that sounds like fun, but I've apparently decided it sounds like fun. You do need quite a bit of organic matter for it, though. And other things. Well, no, it's mostly organic matter. You use it to make humus? I never know how to pronounce it. It's spelled like hummus, but with one M. And it is the essentially most nutrient-rich organic layer of the soil, or component of soil. It's kind of the thing that yeah, it's like the when stuff is actually broken down and composted composted well, and I want to touch it. I want to touch it. It's good and crumbly. I'm just thinking about it now. Damn, now I'm just thinking about soil. Someone please bring up a different topic of conversation so I can think about something else. I don't even have... The problem with this is, like, I don't have more thoughts about soil. I just have the same thoughts about soils in a cycle, in a loop. In different fonts and, people's voices? No, just different fonts. And the same words over and over again, so... It's not even like something I can just talk about. I can talk a little bit more about it, but... Someone please bring up something else for me to talk about. Anyway, speaking of soil things, I don't know what blood meal is. I'm unsure what blood meal is. I keep seeing it, and we've had it, because my dad likes to grow food, and he adds it to the soil. I don't know what it is. Because meal generally means it is something that's been dried and ground up. But I've seen blood meal, and it doesn't look like dried up blood. And I'm unsure what blood meal is made of. I can look it up. I have the ability to do that. Where is my phone? Where is my phone? There you are. I have to search now. I'm distraught. Because there's also bone meal. And at first I thought, like, people were confused and were looking for bone meal, but we're calling it by something wrong. Or calling it by a different name. Apparently it is just powdered blood. Okay, well, I'm sure blood and other internal liquids, but... I guess if you have enough blood and you dry it, it'll look different? I don't know. Because what I was using was not red. It was gray. Maybe it was mixed with something else. I don't know. But yeah. So much of gardening is just eyeballing chemistry, which I've admonished before, but gardening is different. It's not quite chemistry, and 100% definitely chemistry. To be fair, this version of chemistry is much less dangerous. Because it's more cooking than baking. Yeah, we'll go with that. It's more cooking than baking. Because with baking, you have to be real careful with your ratios, or else things go badly. With cooking, you can kind of just it's less important. I don't understand people who eyeball things in baking. They scare me. Please measure something once. No one has offered me an alternate. I'm still thinking about soils. This is terrible. Someone please bring up something else. Anything else. I'm still thinking about soil. There's another podcast I was listening to, and there was a part about soils. I actually think it might have also been a soil podcast. It wasn't. Was it the same one? Was it the same podcast? I don't think it was, because I think the host was different. It might have been... Oh, no, maybe it was the same one. Anyway. Where am I? It was talking about how turning soils, do more harm. Oh, that's just there to taunt me, huh? I can't get down there. Terrible. Yeah, turning soils ultimately do more harm than good, and are more and yeah, leads to the death of soils much faster than just leaving the soil alone. And it's a short-term solution, but people use it because it's a short-term solution. It makes things go a lot faster, and in agriculture and like farming, where you kind of need to turn a profit and time is money, I understand why they would use the faster solutions, but it's not sustainable. And a lot of best practices will always result in more long-term, the ability to grow things for a much longer period of time, or even perpetually. But they take a while, and they can take a lot of money and a lot of time. You got an ad? Congrats. Yeah, they take a lot of money and they take a lot of time. Please, no. Grr, bark, bark. I'm being barked at. Hello. Hi. I see that you're alive. What's up? Is it eyeballing food is also about Polly? Um, eyeballing food? What are you talking about? No, no, no. Eyeball food. It's more fun that way. Who called me? I can't believe you're alive. And by alive, I mean I can't believe you're here in my chat. You're never here. Who are you? You are an imposter? Eyeball food? No. Not food for eyeballs. I mean, like, as I'm measuring. Anyway, I was talking about soils. I know I said someone give me something else to talk about, but you're in lip. Polly's good twin? Polly has a good twin? Polly's a twin? God, what was I saying? Best practices. Long time. Money. Yeah. Of course, capitalist society demands that things happen fast and now, and so people use, chemical fertilizers, and they turn the soil, and they plant one type of crop for years in one place, and they, don't plant anything else around it. Which is, a way to destroy your fields. There's this agriculture practice called food forests, which is kind of what's happening in my backyard, which is very fun. And it's essentially planting or creating, honestly, forest is probably a bad word for it, but I do like the alliteration. Jungle is probably a better word for it, just because biodiversity in jungles is much higher than in forests, but doesn't matter. The point is you plant a lot of different types of crop around each other, and so they can help each other, grow by creating an underground network, like a diverse underground network, and they, of roots and, like fungi, other microfauna in the soil, they encourage different pollinators, blah 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 blah. They help a lot of plants work together to live better. Yeah, they work together, and they can help each other when they're in need, and or they like put out different chemicals that other plants need, like will help other plants survive, and they work really well together, and we should be taking advantage of that because it makes things a lot easier. However, you cannot mass produce foods as efficiently like this. Why are you? I won't be sure if that thing was alive. Cut out of the tiny you. We should get a bridge cut out. What would you get a bridge cut out of? There is no bridge. You don't know what I look like, or I guess you could do the Kuso variant. Knitting stream when? God, ugh. So I don't want to. I haven't had time to do things. I've been talking to you. You know this. I've been going to work, talking to you, writing. That's it. I don't have time to do other things, like figure out how to stream. Work stream when I'm not bringing y'all to work. It would destroy my phone. Also, I should like take a video of what I do and then show you guys. Cause sometimes it's very entertaining to watch. It's very hypnotizing to watch. It's cold as hell though. Cold as hell is a funny phrase. But it is cold. It's coolant. Do you have other friends? I mean, I have the content house, allegedly. I don't want to bring y'all to work. I work there. I'm there. I also don't have Wi-Fi at work, so I have to use data. I don't have data. You hate us? I hate you specifically. I'm polyphobic. Excuses. No. I also, like, have to get work done at work. So you weren't here for this when I was explaining that my hands get disgusting, and I'm not going to touch my phone. My phone that has a hinge. I'm not going to touch my phone that has a hinge with my hands that are covered in stuff that would destroy my phone. Liquids and metal. Use me as a phone holder? Come to Canada then. You want it? Come to Canada. You're not coming to, if you do come to Canada, you are not coming with me to work. I forbid it. I forbade you. This is what you get for being. It's what you get for not having Wi-Fi. I say as if it's your fault. It's not your fault, but I say as if it's your fault because it's fun to blame you. Anyway, yeah, if I forbade you from coming to my work. If you come here, you can do the tourist things, and I'll meet you at some point. You can hang out on the weekend. 2025. That snowman died so many times. Well, if you come to Canada, we can finally see who's taller. It is me. I am taller than you. I'm going to crayon paint your work walls. You can. I mean, you can. There are crayons at my work. They're large crayons used for marking pieces of metal because the wax sticks better than like pen, and doesn't stain like marker does, because I've also written a bunch of stuff in marker and it will bleed. The coolant causes it to bleed off and it gets all over me and it stains my hands. The crayons doesn't do that. Hello? Why are you punching someone? Are you punching me? Is it me you're going to punch? Yeah, part of my job is, again, I've said this before, not do it, part of my job is literally just standing there and waiting. The microphone has moved. His bridge caught podcast, oh my god, you play Minecraft? Oh my god, I remember when I used to play Minecraft. I've been thinking about trying to play it, but then I remember that I don't want to play Minecraft. I want to not do that. I should play Minecraft. God, are you a Minecraft streamer or something? Lol. Bridge podcast when I'm trying. You know this, I'm trying. I've told you. We're struggling here, okay? It's hard when you hate writing. It's difficult when you hate creating and being responsible for things, okay? I don't, like, listen. I would listen. Yeah, I know. I'd make you people listen. Someone has to pay me. That's a joke. Do not give me money. I have to think. Just yap for 20 minutes? Oh no, not a podcast like that. Not a narrative podcast. And anyway, if you want to listen to me yap, just listen to any of my streams. That's all I do for 2 hours. I just talk, and I talk about anything, and that's literally, again, just chatting streamer under the guise of being a gamer. I am a liar. I enjoy it, though. If you just want to listen to me talk, literally just watch the VODs. The VODs are up there, you can just listen to them. If only Kusa would come back from the war. She's in art school, but yeah, I want to write my narrative podcast. I have time. I don't have time. I do have time. I do not have time. If only Kusa would come back from the war. I don't have the... I'm trying to do so many things right now, and by so many things, I mean, like, it feels like I'm trying to do so many things, and I have to finish this book before I have to return it to the library. At this point, I'm thinking of just returning it to the library, my book to the library, or, like, trying to see how far into it I can get, returning to the library, and then just, if I need to finish it, just going to the library and reading it at the library, because I think if I return it and then check it out again, I will be very embarrassed, because I can't, they don't have the, self-checkout things at the library anymore. Or, like, they do have it there, but they're not working, and it's upsetting to me, because you have to go through the actual, like, librarians to get your books checked out. It's embarrassing, okay? It's embarrassing if I check out a book I literally just returned. I should kidnap? I've never had mod number 1 nor mod number 2 in custody, unfortunately. But I should ask them to play games with me. Mod number 2 was talking about getting Portal 2, and then asking if I would play with them, which of course I would. I can't guarantee I'm going to be a nice person to play with. However, I would like to play Portal 2. I would like to play video games with my friends. However, my friends like playing video games, and I do not, so it's difficult. It's not on you, it's absolutely on me. I have had time. I'm just terrible with management. If I could, like, spend any amount of time on all the things I need to spend time on, I did not mean to go through that doorway. It's fine. You're obsessed with number 2. It's unfair. No, but if I could, like, 20 minutes of doing anything, like all the things that I want to do, if I could just do that, or like I could have a day for each of the things, that would be very helpful. If I could have any kind of consistency. The problem is, that's literally the thing I'm the worst at. I'm so terribly inconsistent and bad at doing things. And I want to cry all of the time. I don't want to do that all of the time. I am lying. I am lying for reasons unknown to me. You gotta ask mod number 2. I don't have control over that. Mod number 2 is like a life. And like, is doing things and is also in school. Yeah. I would think I should take a class, a writing class of some sort, but that implies that I care. Uh, If only I could trick myself into being more of a fan of my own works. Then I might be able to convince myself to write fan fiction, but like canon fan fiction. Actually, no, I've like thought about fan fiction of my own work before. However, it's not helpful when I'm trying to actually write the thing. The problem is with fanfiction, you can just go right to the interesting parts. With actual original works, you have to do the boring things too, and I hate it. I hate it. I just want to write the interesting stuff. Damn. At least I'm trying to think of a structure I can create where I can just do the interesting parts, because I would like to just do the interesting parts of the things I'm writing. But for the structure I have currently mapped out in my brain right now, it doesn't work if I do only the interesting parts, and it's infuriating. Ah! Bop, bop, bop. Nope. Ah! You are a great writer, Bridge. You are biased. You don't read. That's untrue, you read, but you're also biased. God, I wish I wrote more. I've been working on the interlude, the Witchverse interlude fic for months. Technically, I think it has only been like a month or two of the interlude piece being its own interlude piece, but I started writing this in like October, so I feel like it's been longer. And I keep rereading it, and it's gotten to the point where I can't even enjoy what I've written. I can enjoy parts of it. I can enjoy the parts that I've finished, and by that I mean not this fic. But I am not enjoying being a reader of this fic at the moment, and it's frustrating me because I'm starting to forget what I've created. If you write more, yeah, I know. I have a full-time job, though. I have a full-time job, and I take the bus, and I am not getting a car. I try to write on the bus. I've been doing some writing on the bus, but it's not easy to do. How do I get up there? It's not easy to do, and it is a lot of effort. But yeah, no, okay, cool, I can't. The problem is, I write a lot, but I don't finish things a lot. Like, I have a lot of things written. Technicalities. Don't kill yourself. Technicalities don't count. But, God, I could talk about... I need to just start talking out loud about the things that I want to create and then recording myself. The problem is I don't want to have to listen to whatever it is I've written, or like I've said. I would rather read it because it's easier to kill me. It's easier to... It's faster to go through, and it's easier to find information I'm looking for if it's written down. The problem with the thing I want to write that is my own original works, the Team Eagle Eyes podcast thing, is it requires research, and I have no idea what it requires research on, because I have not outlined anything. I really have to get the structure of it down, but I haven't taken time to do that, because it's... Once I solidify something, I can't change it. And I'll get very sad if I come up with a new idea and then I can't fit it in. The thing is, I want to do... I can't choose what I want to do. I want to do many things. I want it to, like... I would love to be funny. First of all, I would love to be funny. However, I don't know if I'm not necessarily... I can be a funny writer, but I'm not necessarily sure that I can create what I want to create in a funny manner and have it also be the other things that I want it to be. So... difficult. I also don't know how long I'm planning to make it, and for the way that it is structured, that's kind of important. Yeah, for the way it's structured, I do have to have at least an idea of how long it's going to be, that I can, You've started downloading German directly into your brain. Terrible. But also, like, because I listened to your voice note, it could have been beginner German for people who already can understand some German. It's like not starter German, but beginner German, right? Because they have some stuff like that. Like if you're reading a kid's book, it's going to be fully in that language, but it's going to be in simpler words and terms and stuff like that. I need to write my podcast. I've doomed myself. Okay, well, I think I'm out of it. Well, no, I'm done. I am tired, and I'm going to lie down in my bed and galaxy brain myself. Or do the opposite of that and try not to think at all. So, it's also nearly 2 hours, and I don't want to hit 2 hours. If you are here, thank you for coming to the stream. If you have stayed with me, thank you so much for staying. I should get the silent melody, hymno the silent melody at some point. I feel like it's inevitable. I really should. Don't hit that. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. Good night. Bye-bye. I'm not stretching. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.